Okay, I'll be honest. When it comes to sports, tailgating is my favorite part. And when brisket's involved, you've got my full attention. Jackie Madill from the Washington State Beef Commission, she showed me how to cook a brisket and use it in all sorts of recipes.
This is just a really great way to enjoy brisket. So I headed out to my butcher last night. This one is about 3.5 pounds. So this is a big chunk of meat. Something I want to note about brisket is it's got a nice lip of fat on the back, and we want to leave that on.
We want that.
Yes, so we add some onions to that. I've got 2 cans of green chilies. I'm going to combine a dark beer, a little bit of beef broth, and then if you want to add a little bit more spice, you could add some crushed red pepper flakes, and you're going to do some fresh cracked pepper. And if you wanted to skip the red pepper flakes and just do black pepper, that works too. And a healthy dose of salt. The lid goes on this, and you just set it for low heat for 6 to 8 hours.
Writing it down, even though we'll have this on the website.
Now, once your 3.5 pound piece of brisket shrinks down, but you've got a lot of meat to work with. You know, we have a family of 5. One of these would easily feed us in a meal, especially as we expand it by slicing or chunking it to make some really big hearty sandwiches.
Like, how would you make like a hearty sandwich with a brisket? Because that's a tough meat to put on a piece of bread.
Well, the nice thing about slow cooking it is it literally, I mean, you can see I was slicing it, but it's just so tender. It just falls apart. It's really beautiful. So I would just layer our brisket on here. And if it was coming right out of the crock pot, it'd be all hot and it would melt your cheese. And you could just really pile this on there. Some of those onions would be so good included. And then I top it with something like a roasted red pepper mayonnaise.
Oh,
and this
okay.
To me
Fancy girl.
This to me just like screams football food. You know what I mean? So I think that this is just super fun and definitely hearty. Handheld, you could wrap it in a napkin or a paper towel, go walk around the parking lot, or if you're having a party, it's great for in your own kitchen as well. So I love this.
Handheld for when you walk down Hawk Alley and people are jealous of your beautiful sandwich.
Exactly that. But we've got more brisket to use, so I have more ideas for everybody. So we're going to go ahead and chop this brisket up, and hopefully I'm going to blow your mind a little bit by breaking the mold on a more traditional recipe, which is stuffed peppers.
I've only ever done it with ground turkey and ground beef. I've never done it with brisket, but I am so with you right now.
So I have a mixture of Mexican and brown rice here. It's about 3 cups. And that, in addition to our brisket, is going to be the basis for this recipe. I'm going to add a can of chopped tomatoes that have green chilies included, some black beans drained and rinsed. Then I just have a little extra seasoning. So we're going to take the pretty basic beef recipe and pull it towards kind of Mexican inspired spices. So I've got chili powder, got garlic powder, and I've got some cumin. You could also add powdered oregano. So if you've never made stuffed peppers before, you just cut the top off, and then you're going to remove the ribs and seeds and fill the hole, the cavity, with your filling. But we are going to make ours in a crock pot.
Oh, question. Do I need to put any broth in or anything?
Yeah, you would want to add about a 1/2 cup of beef broth, or water would be fine as well, to the bottom of that before you put the lid on and seal it up. Now, I would cook these on high for about 2 hours. Really, everything is cooked. You're just bringing the flavors together, and you want to soften the pepper a little bit. And then when I serve it, I add some shredded, maybe mozzarella or pepper jack cheese, a little fresh cilantro. You could do some jalapeno slices to add to it. Really, anything you put on a taco, you could probably put on these peppers.
Totally.
It's just so fun.
Jackie, before I let you go, I have to ask you a very important question. Do you have any tips on what to look for when we buy and then cook beef?
I tell people all the time that your butcher should be your best friend. In my opinion, they're the most important person in the grocery store. Of course, you're always looking for a good bright red color that indicates freshness. You want your package to be completely sealed so that you know that there's no leaks or anything like that.
Okay, so we went to our butcher, by the way, and found out the same things that she said. But if you want more tips and recipes, you can visit the Washington State Beef Commission at the web address on your screen. And so we were really inspired by Jackie, so we decided to cook this brisket. A couple of the recipes and then one of my own. So here's the brisket we made it low and slow overnight, 8 hours in the crock pot. That was pretty easy, literally right before bed. Stuffed it in, add the things, and it was delicious. Now, we also wanted to make this really yummy, just really easy thing, and it's taquitos, basically. So we mixed some jalapenos and onions with the brisket. You just tear off the brisket, you mix it in here. You want to put the onions in first with the jalapenos because you obviously want them to soften a little bit because the brisket's already cooked. Then what you do is you take your corn tortilla, because, you know, we don't love gluten in my house, and just stick it in there, add some cheese, roll it up, and now you could fry this if you wanted to, or you can bake it. I prefer to bake it because it's healthier. And there you go. And then here is the finished product. Look how beautiful this is. Beautiful. All right, I'm gonna eat it. I eat it now. So good. Before we let you go, I also wanted to show you, we did make the sandwich with the brisket, and we added a little queso cheese. It's literally Velveeta and Rotel, but you got a fancy bun, a little brisket, Rotel cheese, boom, Bob's your uncle. There's a delicious meal for you. All right, bon appetit, my friends. Coming up, the best part of a magic show is wondering how'd they do that? When we come back, we get a behind-the-scenes look into a magician's world. Some practical magic after this.
The preceding segment on New Day Northwest was sponsored by Washington State Beef Commission.